Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the second session of the Agentic AI Agentic Global Bootcamp brought to you by UiPath and Hack to Skill. We are absolutely thrilled to have you all here today. So moving on ahead, whether you're just starting your automation journey or already have some hands-on experience, this bootcamp is designed for everyone. And our aim is to help you dive deeper into the world of agentic AI and intelligent automation using the powerful tools offered by UiPath. Little bit about the UiPath as well. So for those who are new, UiPath is a global leader in robot process automation and AI-powered automation tools. From simple task automation to advanced AI-driven workflows, UiPath is empowering individuals and businesses across the globe to work smarter and more efficiently. So that being the part on UiPath, let's move ahead. Now, coming on to who like stand out and get rewarded. So basically, what is this about? Well, the participants stand a chance to compete for the prize pool of around $5,000 and get the hands-on training with the UiPath experts and earn a free UiPath Academy diploma to strengthen their credentials. Well, talking a little bit more on this diploma, UiPath has a forum, basically a place on website on their website. You can go check it out over there. There are multiple courses listed over there. You can go through any of those, enroll in any of those, and finish it and get a free diploma. So that is a globally recognized as well, and you can please go and check it out. If you are new, you can just check it out on the dashboard of the hackathon. Links are mentioned over there as well, so it will be easier for you to move on ahead with that. Cool. Now moving on ahead, who can participate? All right, that's a very genuine question everybody would have. So I would like to say that the boot camp is open to everyone, right? Whether you are a student, working professional, or someone looking to explore automation and AI, it's for everyone. Even a school student can participate this, and a guy with 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience, if he wants to know more about agentic AI and automation, he can dive into this as well, because it's a very beginners friendly course. It will help them understand the ABCDs of the agentic AI automation, and it will help them create more interest in them as well. So it's a great opportunity to upskill, gain hands-on experience, and connect with global community of innovators. So you can please do check out and participate in this more and more so that you can learn better. Okay, so moving on ahead, participation journey. So as most of you guys have registered, so you have might seen that you need to register first and then join the boot camp that is happening today. So we have a couple of more boot camps aligned. So when you join the boot camp, you learn over here, and post the boot camp, there will be a mini challenge provided to you guys. So that will be something more engaging for each of our participants to dive deep and learn more by doing hands-on. And after doing that, you need to complete it. So you need to finish the mini challenge, and then you need to submit your completed uh, file on the Hack to Skill hackathon page. And post evaluations, we will be evaluating you based on your skills, based on your creativity, how good you prepared the workflow and everything. The marks will be provided accordingly, and then we can enlist you on the leaderboard and regarding the cash prize and everything. So from the cash prize pool, we will try to provide and give everyone a good chance to win. All right, so moving on ahead. So our speaker for today. So please meet Mr. Lahiru Fernando. He is the country director for Sri Lanka and APAC RPA lead at Boundaryless, where he also serves as the practice head for artificial intelligence, a recognized thought leader in the automation Lahiru is a six-time UiPath MVP, specializing in document understanding and AI, and is well known for his work as an AI ambassador, mentor, and a public speaker. So you have a really great guy for us as a speaker. Welcome, Lahiru. We are great to have you over here. So moving on ahead, a little bit on the bootcamp structure. In today's session, our expert speaker will talk you through the key UiPath features and GenAI integrations and share real-world use cases that demonstrate how automation is reshaping industries. Moving on ahead, as I said, after the bootcamp, there will be a mini challenge. You have exactly 24 hours to complete that and submit your solution. So please work it out on that. So this is a chance for you to apply whatever you have learned and stand out. All right. So moving on ahead. All right. So now I would like to call our speaker to take the lead. Please welcome Mr. Lahiru Fernando. Lahiru.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. And hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. So let me get started and quickly share my screen. Oh, um, yes. Awesome. Cool. So today's topic is going to be on the multilingual customer support ticket management. But before we actually getting into the use case, I'll just give a little bit of introduction about myself. So as you mentioned, um, I am leading the AI practice at Boundaryless, but before that, I actually started my career in 2011. Initially, I was into data analytics and business intelligence side of things. And over time, basically in 2019, I kind of thought of moving into RPA, and since then, a lot of things have changed. And today, I'm with Boundaryless leading the AI practice and also working closely with the UiPath as a VP and very closely working with the product team to build and improve these AI solutions they have. So that's in high level about myself. At the same time, you can also try to follow me on my YouTube channel and also on LinkedIn. So if you're not connected, send in a request. We can get connected and talk more about these things offline. So that's me. Um, and let's get to the topic now. So while we are talking about the use case, I'll also try to cover a little bit about generative AI and how UiPath is using GenAI, how it is integrated into the platform, and what are the GenAI activities. And then we'll look into how we can use it in our session today. So mainly we'll be focusing on language detection, content translation, and extracting certain information for our use case. So let's get started then about the generative AI. So if you think about generative AI in the most simple terms, it's a technology that it's an AI technology that has the capability to actually create new content. The word generative kind of explains that. So it can create new content around with text, audio, video, images, basically all of these different um, data formats. So the good thing about this is it can actually try to create content just like a normal human would do. So if you are talking to an AI system, it can actually talk to you back as if you are talking to another user or another person. It uses large language models to actually replicate this functionality. Um, so today there are a lot of different models offered by different technology providers like OpenAI, Microsoft, and so on. But basically, the base is always around these language models that can actually support to generate this kind of content. Um, so why we talk about GenAI? What is the difference in with what we can gain with GenAI compared to what we had before? So when talking about GenAI, we need to talk about a couple of extra things because we are also in the automation space. So that comes with RPA and the specialized AI models which we had before GenAI. Basically, all those machine learning models that we were using, and then how GenAI is shaping the world. If you talk about traditional RPA, these are like always rule based. We have a set of predefined workflows that we will be using to perform different tasks, and there are certain limitations around that as well. Yes, it can be automated, things can be automated, but when it comes to processing data, it has certain limitations because it cannot process unstructured information. Just RPA alone cannot do that without any intelligence to it. So to support that, over time, we kind of introduce specialized AI models. Even in the UiPath platform, we have access to different AI models through AI Center, for example. But with these AI capabilities, we were able to process documents, NLP related capabilities, then vision related stuff. We can actually see what's happening in the screen or in images, and we were able to pre-train these models to work on a specific task. That is kind of a limitation of those specialized models because it was kind of always limited to a specific task or a goal, and you train it for that and you cannot use it for anything else. So for example, if you use a language model just to do a translation between two languages, it will only do that. Um, that being said, on top of that, recently, not really recently, but about a year and a half ago, we kind of got introduced to generative AI. And with this, it has a lot of additional capabilities. It is much more flexible than those previous specialized models because it has a very good capability to understand the language and create content based on that without doing much of training. And with a simple instruction or simple message that you can send, it can do a lot of things for you. So this actually opened up a lot of opportunities in the companies to process large volumes of data that you get in various different forms like emails, documents, unstructured documents, and so many other data formats. So that's where Gen AI combined with RPA, it actually opened up opportunities to automate workflows that we were not able to do previously. So that is one side, and also with Gen AI, we were able to do a lot of things much better than using those specialized models before. Because with Gen AI, you don't need to do a lot of training. You already have a model; you can just plug it and it will work. So yeah, so that gave a lot of importance for Gen AI when working with automation. So that's why we are talking about it a lot nowadays. So in UiPath, they also introduced these GenAI capabilities into the automation platform. So we did that actually through several ways. Mostly it is cloud. It's on the cloud platform as of today. So you can access these GenAI capabilities through UiPath Integration Service or UiPath Studio. So we have Studio and the Studio Web. Studio Desktop is what you can install in your machine. Studio Web is the cloud version of the same thing. So both are capable of using this GenAI capabilities that is given to us through the integration service. I'll be talking more about all these things as we go. Um, so how we can use it with the Genai capabilities that UiPath offer, we get these capabilities from different providers, right? Like Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic, and so on. So all these are integrated into the system in UiPath system. So all we have to do is just select the model that we want to use from any provider, and you can just simply do a configuration and use it. So you don't need to do a lot of additional things. So it's kind of easy. You just plug and play kind of things. And how it is introduced to us is actually by the Genai activities that we can use in the studio workflows. Even these activities are like drag and drop and simple configurations, and it's up and running. Um, so with these capabilities, we also have a governance model around these activities that is provided to us by UiPath Trust Layer, just to make sure the data privacy and data protection, all these things. So all these things are actually provided by one single platform. So for us, we just need to enable it and just use it in our workflows. It's very simple. So I'll show how we can use that. When it comes to GenAI activities, there are a lot of activities that we can use today. So the little screenshot you see on the right hand side is the list of all the activities that we have access to. And all these activities are available in Studio and the Studio Web, as I mentioned before. But for the session today, we'll focus on language detection, translation, and a little bit around the content generation activity for our use case. So why we are using these three, I'll get to the use case now. So as I mentioned at the beginning, so we are talking about the multilingual customer support. So this means that in a customer support environment, we get emails from different parts of the world. Let's say if it's a large company and if you're in the customer support, you get emails from different countries and they use their own language to communicate. So in such scenarios, we need to be able to understand the content of these emails, translate to our usual language English, and identify key information, and then decide how we are going to transfer this request to different relevant people. Because if you do that manually, it actually takes a lot of time. But with GenAI and automation combined, this can be easily handled. So that is what we are going to look at today as a part of the use case. To do that, we'll be using the Studio Web to create a very simple automation with integration service and using GenAI activities. Yeah, so that's the plan for the hands-on session. Yeah, so that being said, let's get into um, Studio and the UiPath Cloud to see how we can implement this. Um, so once you log into the UiPath Cloud, you can access the Studio from this panel over here. I'm already in the Studio. This is the Studio Cloud, and you can access the integration service here from the left panel again. So let's get started from the integration service itself. For the session today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to my email to read some emails. And using the GenAI activities, I'll be doing that language detection and translation. So for that, this integration service can actually help to do the integration with your email. I have already done that for myself for O365 because this is the email I'm using. And this is for the GenAI activities. I'll show how to connect with the GenAI activities in a different folder. Um, so here in the integration service, if you go to connections, you can see all the possible connections available, and you can search for Genai. This is the one that we need to use. You can click on that, connect to UiPath Genai Activities. Then it takes you to a simple authentication page. There's nothing to do here. Just click on connect and it will create a connection for you in the folder that you select. So in my case, I'm using the personal workspace. Um, so since I already had it, I just created the connection here in the shared folder. And once it is connected, you can see it like this. Same way, you can connect with your email as well. So if you're using Gmail, if you're using any other email provider, just find the related one. If it's Gmail, it's this. For Office 365, 365, yeah, it's Microsoft 365. This is the one that I use. Um, you can click on the connect to 365. It will ask you for the authentication and all the information which you can get. I'm not going to do this now because I have already done that. But depending on the email that you want to use, you can just provide that information and do it. So yeah, so that's the connectivity side. So I'm using the connection here as of now, this one and this one. So since I have this two, now we can go to the studio web and start creating our flow. So you can come here and click on the create new. It will ask what option to choose. So just go with the RPA workflow for the time being. Then it will take you to a place like this. To easily get started, just click on manual automation. What that means is actually the trigger. How are you going to trigger this automation? Manual means you need to trigger it manually. But since we thought of using the email, I can simply change this trigger, change trigger to use our Office 365 email. So I'm going to search for email. Uh, Let me find that. Office 365 and email receipt. So as soon as I get an email, I'm going to start this flow. Once I do that, it will install the dependencies in the background in my environment. It will just take a couple of seconds. And it automatically connects to the integration service, the email which I created in my personal workspace. And then I can choose which folder I'm going to use. So I'll use my demo folder. This is where I have all the emails. Yeah, so that's it for this activity. There are additional filters, properties that you can use depending on how you want to do that. So I'll not get into this stuff for now. So the first step is done. We received an email. Now our task is to understand what language this is. So to do that, we can click on this plus sign and look for our activity. So if you go back to the deck, language detection is this activity, detect language. So you can search for that, detect language. You will get different options, but search for the option from Genai Activities, detect language, and add it here. And this will also connect with our connection that we created. It just takes few seconds to validate the connection. And then we can see the extra properties. Yeah. Let's just allow it few seconds. Yes. Okay, so this is our connection and this is the text that we need to provide. So I'm going to use the email body to check the language. So we have this activity, the trigger prepared before. So in the email receive, select this body. This is the email body, and then show additional properties. This has the two outputs, detect language and another object. This is more of a text variable, this one. So we can use this variable to check what language this email is on. Just to see it during runtime, let me also add a log message here. In my case, I already have it, else you can search for log message under control. So I'll show you how to uh, show the language output. Just go to expression editor. Within double quotes, I can say language detected and a plus sign variable detected language from our language detection activity. It will add it here and that's it. So with this, we can detect the language um, of the email. So the second step is done now. Now what we have to do is, depending on the language, we need to translate it to English. But if the language is already in English, then we don't need to do any translation. Just a simple condition. So to handle that, I can use a simple if activity under control. And here I'm going to write a simple expression. Let's go to condition builder. I'm going to say um, the detected language is, let's say, does not contain, and under expression editor, I'm going to say English. What this means is, if the detected language is not English, then this condition becomes true. So once you save, it gets saved like this. So if it is not English, then we need to do the translation. If it is English, then we do another step. I'll get to that. But let's first do this then part of the if condition. So when we are doing the translation, I want to translate the email body and also the email subject, because sometimes you add information in the subject as well. So let's go here, and our next activity is the translate under Genai Activities. So we are using that connection I have. Give it a few seconds. In the meantime, I'll just double click here and say translate email body, so you can easily refer this. And now for the text, I'm going to give the email body to translate. So under email received body, the language I'm going to translate this is English. Whatever the language in the email, I need it in English. That's the idea. So under additional properties, this is the output variable. So I want to make this name a bit more specific. So I can create a variable and say translated email body. So I can make use of that variable later in the flow to do some data manipulations. So the email body is translated now. Now we need to do that for the email subject. So I'm using the same activity. While it gets configured, I'll just update the title, email subject. And for this one, for the text, I'm using email received and subject. Language is again English. And under additional properties, I can create another variable to store this value. You can say translated email subject. These are the two variables I have. Now, since we have these two variables created, I want to use this two variables and put it into a single variable so that I have all the information available in a single variable, which I'll be using to create a specific data structure, which we can use to actually connect with the CRM, any CRM application through API, right? Um, this is just to simplify our steps that is coming up next. So to do that, I need to create another variable and assign the values of these two variables to that. So for that, I'm going to use an activity called set variable value. So I already have it here. So I'm going to create a variable first. Let's say this can be email content. I'm not changing anything here. I'll just leave it as it is and create. Now to set the value, I have to go here. I'll be using the expression editor to write a simple expression. So within double quotes, I'm going to say email subject and plus. Then using my variables I created before, I'm going to get it from the translated email subject because now this is in English. Then I'll add a line break here. Uh, System dot environment new line plus this string manipulation just to break it into another line. In here, I'll use another double quote. I'll say email body and same as we did before, add a plus and use the translated email body. Um, you can also test it on this side as you create this expression. So if I just say hello and hi and test, you can see that this expression is valid and this is how it will look like. Just take a copy of this for now and click on save. So we are having a new variable called email content that we can use in the later step. So that is all for the then part of the workflow in the if condition. So if it is not English, we translate the body and the subject and assign it to a variable. Now in the else section, if it is English, I don't need to do the translation, but I need to add a value to this variable, email content. So for that, I am using the same activity here in the else. The variable is going to be the email content. So this time I'm not creating a variable, I'll use the same. And under set value, we'll use the expression editor. This is the expression we wrote before. But here we use the translated email subject and the body. But since we are not translating for this part, I'm going to use the subject directly from the email because we detected that is already in English. So I'll use the variable email received and subject just like before. Same goes for the email body. Email received body. And that's it. So we click on save. So we have completed the if condition with this little configuration. Now is the interesting step. Let's also add a log activity outside this if condition just to see what we created. So I'll add a log message. And for this one, for the message, I'll write a simple expression. Processed email content so that we can actually see what happens in the logs. The variable, I'll use our email content. Okay, so most of the flow is done by now. So this comes in as an exception because the variable we created is of the type object. So if you can double click here, just put this dot and say toString. So it converts the content of that variable to a string. So most of the flow is done, pretty much 80% of it. But before getting into the next step, let's test this and see how our flow works. So for that, I kind of have these three emails. One is in English. There is one email. The other one is in Spanish and in French. So you can see the three emails. Just keep it as new emails and let's see how we can run our flow. So as of now, our flow triggers when you receive an email, but I already have three emails. So by default, it will pick the first one, which is this. So let's see how it works. So there's our flow. I'm going to test on the cloud. Let's see what we can see on our logs. So if it takes the first one, it is actually an English version. So we should detect the language as English. Oh, okay, so it took the second. I kind of moved the data back and forth earlier, so probably that's why. So this is the French version, and this is the translated version of that email. So we created this processed email content. So you can see the email subject and the email body from this person there. You can go here and check. Sorry, it's this one. The reason for this to pick this is because to test the flow, I kind of moved everything to a different folder and got it back. So yeah, that was the reason. And so it works up to this point. So you know how to use the translation now and also to detect the language. Now we have the email, but now for us to pass this information to our application and to a related person, we need to extract some content. So for that, I want to extract this content in a very specific structure. Let's say a JSON structure in simple terms. So I wrote this little instruction before. So what I want is, based on that email content that we are generating, the English version, I wanted to put that information into this JSON structure. So we need to capture the customer name, email, language, um, intent. Intent means what he wants from this email. What is the issue he's referring to? What is the action that we need to take? Which product he's referring to, and the urgency of this email. So to explain it a little bit, I also wrote this thing because I want the information in this kind of a format. So all these are instructions for our GenAI to generate the information that I need from the known data. So for the urgency, I need it as low, medium, high, depending on what the intention is, and the action, what we should do. Because we need this information to route the request to different people or an update in different CRM applications, right? So that's the idea. So I'm going to use this instruction in another activity, um, which I'll be using after this log message. So there is a very interesting activity under content, the Genai activity package called content generation. This is the one. We can use this activity to do a lot of things. I'm just telling you how it can be used for our requirement. Um, so here I can choose any language model. So you can see we have a list of models that we can use. I'll just use the GPT-4o, the latest one. And this is going to be my prompt, which is actually the email content variable, because this is what I want to process. And under the system prompt, I'm going to give that instruction I had in the notepad. So I'll go to expression editor, add some double quotes, and paste this here. So you might have noticed I have multiple double quotes mentioned here. It's just because if I don't do that, when I add two double quotes at the beginning and the end to make it a string, it will be an invalid string. So to include the double quote in the string itself, I had to add two more double quotes every place I have this. So it looks valid like this. Just to show you if what happens if I don't, you can see the moment I remove that, this part becomes something outside that string. That's the reason. So this is my instruction and save. And this activity also generates an output. The output is this top generated text. So this will have the JSON structure that we need. So to see whether it generates the structure properly, let's quickly add a log message here. Um, and write a simple expression, JSON structure, and our output is top generated text. Okay, that's it. So this is our flow. Now if I just test it again, we should have an extra message here. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, it's running. Let's see where it takes now. Okay, it's taking the same French mouse as the French email and see the structure. The name, the email, language, feature request, issue description, everything is captured. Of course, you can optimize these things in the prompt, but you get the idea how it works, right? Just to test, maybe we can process one of those other emails as well. So yeah, I think it used this one. So maybe let's try this. I'll probably move this to remove complete one, and let's see if it can take one of these, just to have a different output. Test it again. So while this runs, right? So likewise, you can have these kind of triggers. You can publish this workflow in the UiPath Orchestrator and get it triggered on these different emails or however you want to get this information to the flow. And once you have the output in the structure that you need, and if you are planning to connect with any external application, you can actually get it to generate that same output that is needed and use that directly in the API request that you can use with the UiPath and pass that information to those applications. So it is very easy with this. Okay, still in the last one. Okay, so it's taking emails. Maybe what I can do is let me do something here. Let me just copy and create a new email and send it to myself. What was the subject? This was here. Just a second, it goes to my inbox. I'll quickly move it to the side. Okay. Awesome. This is my email, the same thing. Let's try again. So, so I think it was looking for emails that got updated in the folder within the last hour. I know the email, I created that email early in the morning, but I was testing the flow before, so it probably took it as a new one. Let's see. Yes, this time it took the Spanish one, and you can see it's running the conversion, and here is the output. So guys, this is how you can use the Genai activities to help detect the language, translate, and create some specific output as you need. So that being said, this same workflow, you can actually use it in the Studio desktop as well. So right now I'm on the Studio Cloud, but this is the one I just used. So you can actually open it in the Studio desktop directly from here. Let me show that as well. I'll just rename it Agentic Bootcamp. Uh, yeah, just have a profile. Then I can just click on this option, open in Studio Web. I already have the studio. So once you click on this, it downloads this solution into your machine and directly opens it in the studio. Allow it a second. Okay. Yeah, it's probably because of my organization restrictions, but you get the idea. This is how you can do that. Okay, cool. So that is how it works. Um, that brings to the end of the presentation, guys. Any questions, anything that is not clear, feel free to ask. I don't know whether I can see the chat. Um, can someone help if there are any questions?
Great. That
Yeah.
was a wonderful session. Thank you. That was commendable. So thank you so much for this insightful session. We truly appreciate the time and knowledge you have shared with us today. All right. So now we'll open the floor for any questions you may have. Feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll address as many as we can. So guys, please drop your questions on the comment. All right. So Adnan Hassani has a question. Can we use our self-hosted AI model?
Yes, that's a good question. At the moment, no, because currently UiPath supports the cloud available models offered by OpenAI and all the other providers. But in the future, that option will be available.
Great. So I guess your question is answered, Adnan. All right. So, any more questions? So we'll just wait for a couple of moments for the questions to come in. Come in.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll try to download this solution. My
Sure,
it got
sure.
downloaded. I think it didn't open.
All right. So we have a question.
Yes.
Do we need to have an enterprise license to use AI models?
Um, yeah, mostly yes, because all these AI models that we have and these Genai activities, it uses the AI units that's available in your system, the environment. So basically, you don't really need an always need an enterprise license, but you can activate enterprise trial if you're building something from scratch or if you want to try something and use the trial, and that gives you access to AI units in the admin page. So I'm also using the trial here in this environment. Um, so if you go to licenses, sorry, this is not a trial, but under consumables, you have this AI units. This is what's running in the background. So either a enterprise trial or enterprise license.
All right, great. I guess your question is answered. Meanwhile, later you can just do one thing: showcase them how they can download these file and like compress it in zip. That usually we find people a little bit hard on their end to do it. So here it is.
Uh, can you ask that question again? Sorry.
No, yet we don't have any more questions. I was telling you that just
Okay.
showcase once how you can download it and then compress it to zip folder. So if they download it, it will be in the UIP file, right? Then they need to
Yes,
compress it into a zip folder. They need to upload it. So just could you just showcase them once? So
yes,
I mean,
exactly.
to help for them as
Yeah, so
well.
you can download it from here. So there are like
Mm-hmm.
two options, right? One is you can
Okay.
download it to the Studio desktop. If it opens in the Studio desktop, you can locate that folder in the Studio and
Mm-hmm.
and then zip that folder. If not, you can just download the UI file from here.
UIP file. Okay,
Yeah, that
great.
takes you. So it basically will look like this, and you can zip this one. Yeah, just trying to find that UiPath solution. Okay, I just found it. So if you download it to the Studio web, since I couldn't open it in my Studio, it's just because it is connected to a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you open it in the Studio desktop, the solution will actually get downloaded to your documents folder under UiPath. There is a folder called Studio Web Projects. Under this, this is the one that, yeah, so once it downloads, it will create a folder like this and you'll see the whole solution. Since in my case it was not successful, you don't see that. But once the download is done, it will create a
Mm-hmm.
folder and you can save that one as well. So it's another easy way of accessing the solution files.
Great.
Yeah. So,
That should be helpful for the audience to just download it and upload it on the Hack to Skill web page. Okay, so we have a couple of more questions. Moving on ahead, Adnan again has a question. The workflows in desktop version of UiPath are executed on the cloud or on my local machine?
yes, good question again. And so what happens is once you open this, the cloud version directly on your studio web, sorry, the local studio, um, it is always connected to your cloud version. So even if it opens in the local, if you do any changes, that gets reflected in the cloud as well. Um, but it still runs on your machine because it's using the studio desktop. If you don't want to reflect these changes in the studio web, you can always create a copy of that solution in a separate folder. Through the studio itself, there is the option and use that to edit. But it runs on your machine until you publish to the orchestrator.
Okay, great. Moving on ahead, Ali has a question. Can we integrate APIs directly into the platform? Are there any external request option?
Yes, we can. So let me open this again. There is an activity called, yeah, just a second. Allow it a second, it's just loading open again. But there is an activity called HTTP request that you can use. And that can be used to connect to external APIs. Um, so this is the one HTTP request for different things. Uh, Under Web API, this is the UiPath's um, one. You can use this activity to connect, or else the other approach is use the integration service itself. You can create your custom integration there and use it directly in your activities in the flow.
All right, cool. Great. Mohammed has a question. Is it possible to do AI transcription slash summary for the live video or meeting?
For the videos, I think these activities will not help to do that for the videos at least. But if you have a transcription file, you can of course use this content generation or summarize activity. There is another activity called summarize. Um, uh, think yeah, summarize text. You can use that. But for the videos, directly through the Genai activities, they don't have that option yet. But for the text, yes. And yeah, Ali also has another question. Can we create a calling agent or real-time
Voice to voice.
voice-to-voice bot? We can call an agent. So using UiPath Agent Builder, you can create an agent to perform a task, and you can call that agent in your workflows through an activity called I think it's called agent run agent. This activity, you can use this to execute that agent in within your workflow um, to perform different things. But for the voice, you'll need to use some third-party tool for the voice recognition.
Okay, cool. Again, Adnan has a question. Is there any kind of workflow as code?
Workflow as code. I did not fully understand the question. Can you explain that? What do you mean by
Adnan,
workflow as code?
if you could. So, Adnan, we would request you if you could just elaborate a little bit. So, I cannot see any more queries. Shall we? Let's just then move ahead with this. Okay, Adnan has done. Can we program the workflow instead of doing it graphically?
Okay. Um, well, with UiPath, even the Studio desktop, it is a graphical interface that looks very similar to what we see on the Studio um, uh, web. So if I open something, let me just create a blank process for the time being. Even here, the workflow designer will look very much the same. And do that, but mostly it is kind of drag and drop like this. Yeah, it's restoring the dependencies, but yes, mostly it's a graphical interface. But there is an option in the Studio desktop to for you to write VB code and create your own flow. That option is there.
Okay, great. So I cannot see any more questions coming up. I believe that's it. Okay, we'll give one more minute to this and then we'll just wrap the session. I believe that's okay with you. Lahiru?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great, great, great. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just move ahead. All right, so um, concluding this boot camp, it was a great experience. Thank you all for joining us today for the second Agentic Global Bootcamp. We hope that you found the session valuable and that it sparked new ideas around the power of Agentic AI and automation with UiPath. Don't forget, you now have to 24 hours to complete and submit your mini challenge. So please go through the event dashboard. The mini challenge will be live from 2. So from today 2 p.m. IST to tomorrow 2 p.m. IST, you guys need to complete it within that time frame. And this is your chance to put your learning into action and compete for the share of the prize pool. That's around $5,000. Also, make sure to check out the UiPath Academy courses linked in the courses section to earn your free diploma and continue your journey in automation. So, great. Then we'll be back soon with more exciting content and sessions. Until then, stay curious, keep building, and thank you once again for being part of this global learning experience. Thank you, Leru. Thank you for coming and taking the lead for the session. I believe everybody is well and understandable on their end as well. It was a great explanation from you. It's commendable. Great. Thank you once again for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. See you guys. See you at the next podcast.